It is the 7th of June. This is Rabbi Levitt, Gemorah. Hey, Phil.
Hi, how you doing? So I'll be here this week. I leave Motzi Shabbos for 2 weeks.
Where you going?
Going to the States and to Canada.
Have a great trip. That's wonderful.
Oh, wow. Hope you don't have to have any tests anymore.
Yes, I do.
We still have tests.
Only the States is the only country that requires you to take the test. You got to take the test to get in with the States.
Well, they've lost 1 million people, so I can't blame them.
Yeah. The whatchamacallit doesn't. Canada only requires you proof that you're vaccinated. And coming back, you don't need anything.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, Israel has gotten quite lenient. It's a bit surprising to me because there's still like 1,000 people a day that are getting it.
Yeah, but they're not getting but they're not really. They're getting it, but for them, it's like most of them are. It's like a a light thing. A cold,
Yeah, but there are people who are critical, who are on machines, and it's like more than 100 people that are on machines right now.
Wow.
Who knows?
Okay, so oh yeah, right. I know where we got up to. We had the Gemorah's question. The Gemorah was bringing a question that on the one hand, we see we have brises that says that the one that was stolen from should not accept the offer of the Goslin to give it back to him. And then on the other hand, we have brises that say that the Goslin has to return. And a perfect example of that was this the Sefer. The Gemorah said, "Va'odei Masefa." In the case of Ein Makirin, with the tax collectors and the shepherds, they don't know who it was that they stole from. So the Gemorah says, "Yaseh behen sarkei tzibor." So they should do things that benefit the overall general public, and so like that, Rashi explained that they will the people that were actually stolen from, it's possible and likely that they'll get some indirect benefit from these things that the Gazlanim provided for the needs of the public, and like that will be that will be what their eitzah is. That'll be what they'll do in order to return what they stole. But Rashi points out, so according to that, you see that really bottom line is that we hold that the Goslin has to return, because we see that in this case with the tax collectors and the shepherds, that it's difficult for them to return. Their tshuva is difficult because why? Because they can't make a proper return to all the people that they stole from, and it seems that that in order to do tshuva, that's what they need to do. So what does he have to make a proper return in order to do tshuva, or do we say that it's not required. We'll allow him to do tshuva in any case, and that even ad kedei kach, to such an extent that the person that he knows that he stole from and he's giving it back to him, we instruct that person to say, oh, I don't accept it from you. So the bottom line, we said, was that lo kasha kan kodama takana kan la'achar takana. This Bryce is talking before there was a takana for the sake of the Gazlanim, to help them to do tshuva, encourage them. And the other Bryce is talking before we made that takana drabon. Okay, and then maybe we'll start here from this Vahashta the Amar of Nachman. We read this yesterday, but maybe we'll read it again. Hashta the Amar of Nachman. You see where that is? It's the bottom. It's on the bottom of page Tzadi Dalet Amud Beis 94b. The last, the end of the second to the last line from the end. So, Alan, would you like to read for us?
Which Gemorah are we in?
This is in Bava Kama,
Okay.
94b. It should be the very last page
Okay.
of 94b, and it should be the last.
Before, the last,
94b4, the last paragraph.
all right.
Gemorah suggests,
Gemorah suggests an alternative way to reconcile the two Brices. The Omar, the Omer, Rav, this one, Nachman. And now Rav Nachman has said, Bishain the Zela Kayemes, the enactment made at the times of Rebbe pertains only to where the stolen article is not extant. You can even say that both this brisa and this brisa were taught after the enactment made in the times of Rebbe. Below Kashua, and still there is no difficulty.
Okay, so yeah, we're trying to understand this last paragraph. And so actually right, I was reading from this Shita Mikubetzis, which it seemed to be the art scroll was had a note that was explaining along the same lines as this Shita Mikubetzis, that he brings that Afshala Acha Shekona Hagazlan es Agzela B'Shinui, even though a Gazlan would acquire the stolen articles that he stole through a shinui. For example, let's say he stole the wood and he made it into a table. That would still be regarded as the stolen article that he stole, because even though he now put it into a different form, but it's still really the wood that he stole. He just transformed it. And so if it's Gazela Kayemis, if the Gezel is still in existence, so therefore what does that mean? Does that mean that he has to return that? Or does that mean that he doesn't have to return that? Shekain sof yeshlo bimala shalem. he says, so since he's got the table now, he even though it's in a different form, it's called that the gezel is still here, meaning, what does it mean that the gezel is still here? He has what to pay back in order to pay back for the gezel that he did. He can give it back. Eina davar kasha alav, and that's not too hard for him to do. Rakim eino ba'olam lagamre ubola shalem mikaspo tiknu shalo yikablu mimenu. So in other words, if the Goslin comes and does tshuva, and he says, here, this is the wood that I stole from you, I made it into a table. So we don't tell the person that the wood was stolen from in that case to refuse the table. We allow him to say, thank you very much. And all the best to you. Only in the event that the Goslin stole the wood, and then he sold the wood, let's say, to somebody, and he made some money with it, and then he took the money and he now went out and spent the money. He doesn't have the money anymore. There's nothing left of that wood that he stole. That's the case where we say that if the Ganav came to him with money out of his pocket and says, here's the $1,000, which represents the wood that I stole from you, I'm paying you out. That's where the takana that we made on the party that the wood was stolen from to refuse the $1,000 from him. Shekain kasher gezel hanechal shafilu litzadi gomor kasher lahashibot. That's a case which is particularly a hard one for the Ganav to endeavor to do tshuva, because he adds that even a tzaddik gomor, it would be kasher. It would be hard for him to say, okay, I'm going to give him back $1,000 out of my pocket to make up for the to be able to return to the person that I stole the wood from.
I'm a little surprised at that, because I would think that the more difficult thing would be to give him the table, because the Ganef has put his work into the table. He's built this table, and now he's got to give it away. For him to give away the money is not so dear to him, I would think.
I hear your point. The difference between the table and the money is that it's true that they put in his own hard work into the table to transform the wood that he stole into a table. So he's got, let's say, he's got his $500 over there of his effort. The wood itself, let's say, was only worth $500, but now it's worth 1,000. So he's giving back 500 that didn't belong to him, and 500 that of his work. Whereas, so if I make the numbers like that, so okay, so now, so you want to say that would be harder for him to do than to come up with $500 that he spent the $500 now. Where's that $500? He's going to have to borrow. Let's say he's going to have to borrow that $500 in order to pay back this guy. He doesn't have it. Which is harder?
Well, remember, the case that we said was he sold the wood and got $1,000. And now he goes and spends $1,000, so he doesn't have it anymore.
Yeah.
But the wood was worth $1,000. So the other case is he's got the same wood. So he's got $1,000 worth of wood, and he makes a table. And let's say the table is now worth $1,500. So he added $500 of value to the table. So now what he's got to give back is $1,500 of value. But even more so, he's giving back the work of his hands, something that he can look at and take pride in. You know, I made that. Look, I did a good job, whatever. And they say no fish tastes better than the one you caught yourself.
Okay, what would you say if we said that he didn't make it into a table, but what? But I mean, he doesn't really say he made it into a table over here. That was my example. The Gazlan was Kona Alidea Shinui.
Right, but we're comparing when it's existent to when it's not existent.
I'm just saying there's different types of shinui. We'd have to, in other words, it could be that the Shita Mikubetzis would agree. We'd have to take a look at the Shita Mikubetzis inside and analyze it further. But it could be that the Shita Mikubetzis would say that if the shinui was a major shinui, such as he worked and put in effort in order that the wood would now be into a table, that type of a shinui would be a shinui that we would say he would not have to he has what to pay. Yeah, according to his words, it sounds like you're saying that the main difference is over here, he's got the and well, I would add the following thing. I don't know. Yeah, we really have to take a look at this sheet to make a betsis inside. I don't have a sheet to make a betsis. That's the problem.
I don't either.
In other words, there, I mean, it's even more than what there's 2 points of difference over here. The way we're saying the case is that he's taken the table, he's taken the wood, which however much the wood was worth, and now he's making it into a table, which of course is adding, which took his own work, which results in the wood being even more expensive. And what are we saying now? He's got to return the table itself. That's already 1,500. Whereas if we say that he sold the wood for 1,000, and he just doesn't have the 1,000, but still he's only having to pay back. Even if he has to borrow it, it's only 1,000 that he has to borrow. He doesn't have to borrow 1,500.
Right. Plus,
So,
he told himself that, you know, even if he doesn't have the 1,000 because he spent it, but nevertheless he got it. So he's really not losing anything.
yeah. Oh, 1 second here. There's actually a further comment over here. It seems like Ach b'divrei HaMishnah Lamelech, it's another commentator, Mishnah Melech actually on the Rambam. If you have a Rambam, you could see this inside. It's in Hilchas Malva Baloiva in Mishnah Torah of the Rambam. There's a commentary in a standard Rambam called the Mishnah Lamelech on the bottom, and he says the Mishnah Melech, he differs with this what the Shita Mikubetza says. Muchak lokein. He says Ella im koine hagazlan es agzela arehi b'chlal ein agzela kayemes ve'ein makablim mimenu. Also, he argues completely. He says that if the Gazlan acquired the Gezela, so then we would say that falls into the category of Ein Gezela Kayemes. That's called that the Gezela is not here.
Oh, so the table would not be returnable.
Yeah, so he's learning the Gemorah completely differently than the Shita Mikubetzes. Ein Mekablim Mimenu. According to that, that would come out that according to what Rav Nachman is saying, that when do we say that he got to say that the guy that was stolen from b'she'en gezela kayemes. So if the gezela if it's called that the gezela is not kayemes, so then that's in that case, if the Gazlan would have to give, then we say ein mekablim mimenu. Then we would not. In other words, even if the table is here, that's called, according to the Mishnah Melech, ein gezela kayemes. The Gazlan has acquired it, and it's called ein gezela kayemes. And then according to that, the rule would be that the person that the wood was stolen from would be told to not accept the table from the Gazlan.
That makes more sense to me.
Well, if he's beribis, now according to that, it comes out an interesting din in the matter of charging ribis. So in a case of ribis, it will always be the case that the person that the ribis was extracted from, that had to pay the ribis, and now the lender is coming to give him back the ribis that he made him pay. It would come out according to this ein mekablim mimenu, that the borrower would have to be instructed to not receive it. Why? Sharia malva koine as a ribis. He acquired the ribis. It was part of the contract, I guess, that he was going to get paid with ribis. Ela shehu mischayev l'shalim b'chazara es hadamim shegova.
That I don't get that at all. Is it because it's money? What if the lender lends $1,000 and the borrower pays him back $1,000 plus he gives him a table that's worth $200. So he gave him $200 value, and that value is, we would call ribis. Now, does he have to give back the table if he wants to do tshuva?
What, the ribis was a table, not money?
Correct.
Okay, this is getting into complicated issues of what's called. It certainly would be an issur d'rabbanan to give him a table in addition to the money that he owes him.
Right.
Okay, so let's just say for the sake of the argument that it's right, and so therefore the principle would apply because we're is the the Mishnah Lamelech is saying over here that if the whole matter depends upon Kinyan, which we're saying that it does, so just like the Goslin was Kona, the wood through making it into a table, so too we would say that he's Kona, the ribis that the Lova paid him in addition to the loan money that he paid him. So he was Kona not only the 1,000, but he was also Kona the table, which was the ribis payment. And so if so according to what the Mishnah Melech says, if the Goslin is Kona, so that's called Ein Gezela Kayemis. That's called that the stolen property is not here, because he was Kona it. The property that was here belonged to the borrower. But once the borrower gives it to the lender, according to the contract that they agreed upon. So even though that contract, the Torah, it's interesting. What's happening here is that we're saying that even though the contract is not allowed to be made, and we said before, it even means that the scribe who writes such a contract is doing an isser in writing up such a contract. But nevertheless, if that was the contract, so the Mishnah Melech is understanding that the lender is going to acquire that table, because the guy is giving it to him and saying, here's my payment. There's the $1,000, and here's the table, just like we agreed in the contract. And so the Mishnah Melech understands that he's acquired both the $1,000 and the table. And according to that means that that it's not here. It's not here. That's called Ein Gezela Kayemis. So if Ein Gezela Kayemis, that's when we say that if the Goslin tries to return something which we regard as Ein Kayemis, that is not here, that's when the Lova would have to be required to say, I don't accept it.
So can I ask then again that if he makes the wood into a table, then the table is worth more, so the original owner can't accept it. Is that right?
The reason why the original owner can't accept it is because we're saying that it's really it's a machlokes between the two poskim over here, the Mishnah Lamelech and the Shita Mikubetzis. One says that it is called kayemis. It is called that it's here, and he would have to give it back. But the Mishnah Lamelech differs. He says that no, if it depends on whether he acquired it. So if he acquired it, and he certainly will acquire it if he turns the wood and makes the wood into a table. So then that's, according to Mishnah Melech, that means that it's called gezel, which is eno kayemis. It's not here. The wood is not here. What he stole was wood. The wood is not here, and therefore, if the Goslin would come show up and say, here's the wood that I stole from you. I made it into a table. Here it is. The guy would have to say, I can't accept it. According to the Mishnah Melech, according to the Shita Mikubetzis, he would be able to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
There's an argument in what's called gezela, which is eno kayemis. What's called gezel, which is not here? Does it depend upon whether the Goslin acquired it? Does it depend upon whether it's actually, whether the value that he stole is actually here? according to Mishnah Lamelech, it depends on whether it was Kona. Doesn't matter whether the actual value is here. Doesn't matter the table is here, but he acquired the table. So that he doesn't. The guy is gonna have to say I don't accept. But according to the Shita Megabetzis, he could say I accept it. Thank you very much. Because why? Because as long as he didn't have to come up with any money out of his pocket in order to that he didn't have, that's still not lying around as a result of the gezel that he did. So that's called the case of gezel, which is eno kayemis, according to the Shita Megabetzis. And so therefore, the money that he would give him back, that he had to borrow in order to pay him back, that according to the Shita Megabetzis, that's the case. That's only the case where he would have to say, I can't accept this.
Thank you.
Okay. And with that, let's do some reading. We're up to, this is actually a continuation of what Rav Nachman said. We didn't actually even finish the statement of Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman is continuing. He's continuing on page Sadi Hey, Amid Aleph.
Hooray!
So a round of applause for Sadi Dalet Amid Beis. Okay, we continue with Rav Nachman. Okay, so Roy, you want to read from the top of 95A, Khan.
Okay. Page 95. All right. So there's still no difficulty. Cain, Big Sailor, Kayemet. Here the bracer states that one must return what he has robbed. It refers to where the stolen article is extant. Cain, B'She'ain, Gazla, Kayemet, whereas here in the bracer that states that one is not to accept repayment from a robber. It refers to where the stolen article is not extant. The Gemorah challenges Rav Nachman's assertion that the enactment of Rebbe's times was made only with respect to where the stolen article is no longer extant. He says, V'ha avanate digzela kayemes ha'ahai. But you have the case of the belt, which is an instance where the stolen article is extant. That was where the wife said to the husband, if you're going to give things back, you've got to give back your own belt. Everything he's got is stolen. And that was the case that prompted the enactment of Rebbe's times, that the robber not return what he stole. Evidently, the enactment was indeed made even for cases where the stolen article is extant. The Gemorah answers, Avnat, what did the wife mean when she said that the belt was not his? Demay Avnat, she meant the money with which he bought the belt.
I avnate demay avnate. Oh, in other words, he did not have the belt.
He had the belt, but he bought it with stolen money.
Well, no, if he has he stole money and bought a belt with it?
I think so.
Let's see.
Yeah, the English-
That's what she said. That's what she meant when she said that the belt was not his. It's according to the here.
Okay, let's take a look at the Rashis. Rashi's on the top of the page, Gezela Kayemis.
Gezerah Kayanis, it says Chayev Hachziro, he's Chayev to give it back.
Right, so that's where he's required to give back what he stole if the Gezel is still Kayemis. Kan v'she'en Gezela Kayemis. But in the case where he where the Gezel is not Kayemis, that's where the takana is. That's where the takana of in the days of Rebbe.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Next Rashi. Vaha avnet the gezela kayemisi.
But this is where this belt does exist. Alay, Alav, Nishneit, and it's on him to change with the kanas. That was taught the takana. Should the name Rav, the Rabbi, in the days of Rabbi, Shalolach, but he doesn't have to return.
Oh, and Rashi doesn't explain the answer. My abnate, demay abnate. So the Gemorah is saying my abnate, demay abnate. So in other words, he has the belt, but he doesn't have the money that he stole because he used that money to buy the belt. So what? The belt, he doesn't have to give back the belt. He didn't steal the belt, and the money he doesn't have anymore. So in that case, that's when we and she said, if the wife said if you're going to do tshuva, even this belt is not going to belong to you, because she was assuming that the belt he would have to give back now, or to give back at least the monetary equivalent of the belt. Then he doesn't have that. And the Gemorah is therefore saying that since he doesn't have the money that he stole anymore, that would be an application of the rule that he doesn't have to give back money that he doesn't have anymore, that he stole. In other words,
I don't think he stole the belt. I think he stole the money and he bought the belt legitimately.
right. So in other words, the one of the commentators, the Rishash, we don't have any Rashi over here, but the Rishash is explaining that according to what Rashi is explaining over here, we would understand that what the wife was saying was, this belt that you bought with the stolen money, now you know what you're going to have to do in order to do tshuva? You're going to have to sell the belt that you have. You won't have a belt anymore. And then you'll get money for that belt. And then that money, you'll have to give that back to the one that you stole the money from. That's what the wife was saying to her husband when he said he's got to do tshuva. so that he was that's what caused him to say, if so, then I'm not going to do tshuva because I don't want to do that. So that's when the Chazal made a takana in the days of Rebbe that he doesn't have to in such a case like that, he wouldn't have to sell the belt in order to get money, in order to return money that he doesn't have to give the one that he stole the money from.
Oh, wait, I thought that the kind of says he has to offer to return it, but the injured party has to then refuse.
Okay, so that's a good question. So I understand that based upon what we're saying now, like the Gemorah answered over there. So maybe in that case, we could still say, see, in other words, at this point in the Gemorah, I believe we're saying in that case that this that he says this that, in other words, this that we say that he has to return it is before the takana was made. In other words, there are a few steps in the Gemorah over here. Initially, we said there's no contradiction. Initially, we said, yeah, he's got to make an offer to return it, but the person is required to say, not accepting. Then we originally said if he's not, if so then why should he why is he returning it? And we said to fulfill his obligation to the Beis Din Shel Mala.
Right.
Meaning that the Beis Din Shel Mata sounds like the Beis Din Shel Mata would not require him even to do that.
Right.
But on that, the Gemorah asked the question. So the Gemorah asked the question over there. It said, so if in any case he's required to, if in any case the guy is not required, the guy is required to say, I'm not accepting it from you. Why do we say that tshuva is kasher? Tshuvasin kasher. Why am I tshuvasin kasher?
Right, and we answered that and said that's because of the case where it's the tax collector or the shepherd, and it's kasher because he doesn't know who to return it to, and therefore he's got to do public works, which means he is actually returning the money.
The case of the case of the shepherds and the tax collectors was proving that the Goslin does have to return.
Right, and
Here
that's why it's kasher. I think our time is up, Rabbi.
Okay, very good. All the best, everybody. We're
Yeah, be well.
have a good day. See you tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem.
Amen, amen.
All right, thank you. All right.
Okay, Alan,
Yeah,